me, Sister Anissa, can remind you not to fail yourself by not having those. Those are minimums. Because a lot of things that are said to you, unless you're really doing some study, it will be vague to you, or you might have debate. Meaning that most of the time when I'm speaking to you, sometimes I'll speak on issues that may be what you would call biased to my opinion, but the bias to my opinion will be based in fact, not in just my emotions. It's everything I say, I won't necessarily want it to be, I'll just tell you what the truth is. And then you handle it. So a lot of times when certain issues or information is given, people assume that it's just your opinion. And everything, when I present something, I've done some research on it. And I deal with things most of the time that are controversial that a lot of people don't have the guts to talk about. Because it kind of spoils the pudding to their crumbs. And when I'm not looking at it from that position, I'm looking at that I don't want my babies to grow up to be slaves. That's connotative. I don't want my children to grow up going through all this BS that I grew up with, coming through life, trying to wonder why I was hindered in so many ways, not knowing, thinking that somebody didn't like my color, and finding out that colored person means artificial person. You know what I mean? And people running around talking about you people of color, and you thinking they're doing you a favor, and they're actually enforcing the code system. Because that's exactly what it means. It means artificial person. You don't have any of your Black's Law dictionaries today? Can I have one? As an example, I'm going to show you, I want to demonstrate to you all why it's important to have your Black's Law dictionary. You know, these are just fundamental tools, and this is back to etymology. Keep this in mind too. All scholars have etymological dictionaries on the English language. They have translations from the Hebrew to the English, Latin to English, etc. Oxford dictionaries, they have English Heritage Dictionary, English College dictionaries. These are solids, and they're basics to your library. These are not, you know, you get a dictionary and you got your library. That's not how it works. You should have no less than 13 different dictionaries in your library, inclusive of the ones I just named. Are we clear? Thank you, good brother. Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary of Ancient and Modern Jurisprudence. This also would include in my dispensation to you, to your tools, Bouvier's. 1854, Bouvier's Law Dictionary. You might get Valentine's and others too, but meaning that invest in yourself in this education that others will not give you. And understand other persons who get some of these degrees in secret societies pay thousands of dollars for what you've been given freely. And it's not given straight form, like I told you. So get it while you can. I'm gonna give you an example. And this is just like along the lines, it's like I'm explaining to you Black.
Thank you, brother.
But the major issue is to get it out of your mind of its application.
Yes, sir.
That it has nothing to do with complexion.
Yes, sir.
It has to do with application. And if you don't know that, the mental always takes you to complexion, which is the distortion and the mental servitude.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, sir.
This is why it must be explained so that people don't get defensive, thinking that you're being anti-hotepness and all that stuff. You know, and just like you have other people who go into the Hermetic laws and to the Asiatic cultures. And so these different terms are loosely thrown around because we've adopted them from the 70s. You know, before the 70s, you called these people Black, you had to fight because they had a reference point and knew you were still in their birthright. There are a couple more generations, they're embracing it and proud of it, don't even know it's a brand. That steals their birthright because they've lost reference points. You know, after, you know how as the generations pass, there are certain key reference points that you lose. You know, just like you'll see a lot of our people today, like are contributors to the NAACP, as an example, right? National Association for the Advancement of Colored People,
Yes, sir.
right? And I'm going to read to you in law what colored people is, right? However, if you ask them about the Niagara movement, most of them wouldn't even know what you're talking about. Then also you ask them what's in the charter or the NACP, and how come they can't own property, and they'll look at you like, this is for the benefit of our people. No, the charge says they can't own property. Do you understand what I'm saying? They've been taken over, they've been hijacked, and don't even daggone know it. They've been funding their own enslavement out of ignorance, but it's with passion, because they think they can read. That's the problem. And if you tell them these truths, they think, oh man, you Uncle Tom, you against the black man. No, I'm trying to get you out of the black state.
Yes, sir.
No, this is my color. You know, this is not look at. You know, it's like talking to a wall.
Yes, sir. I talk to a creature.
You talk to a wall. So as an example, we'll look up color. As a matter of fact, can you come up with it? Sure, because it's a great advantage. Also, when we're instructing to have you read, because then it becomes yours. Now, come to the mic. Sure. Now, as an example, now you already know in a law book. Remember, in law, the words are etymologically correct. And where there may be some annotation, you have to know when you're looking at annotations, etc. You already know when it's structured as briefs, and you be able to put the conjunctions and the, back into it. Just how you read in your mind, you already know because it's condensed. However, then you would go past the law case because you want to go to the substance of what it means. You understand? So it'll give you certain different law cases to show you examples how it's been used in law. Are we clear? Now, I want you to read color. Now, do this with the same conception that you already know that most of the time when you're talking to our people who that aren't really educated, they think they are. As soon as you say color, people of color, they think it's a term of endearment, don't they? Because they've been told that. Well, let's talk about not what they feel, not what they think. Let's talk about what it really means. All right? Now, read. Introduce yourself, read, and consider this. You're speaking to who's here. You're speaking to the eggs in the womb. You're speaking to the born, yet unborn, and those abstracts that are here at the same time, so make sure they hear you. Islam for Brother Reed.
Sir, peace. Tony Riddick, Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Peace and blessings to everybody.
Islam.
Colored. By common usage in America, this term, in such phrases as colored persons, the colored race, colored men, and the like, is used to designate Negroes or persons of the African race, including all persons of mixed blood descendant from Negro ancestry. Collins versus Oklahoma, State Hospital, 76. These are the references.
Yeah, those are reference points.
Oklahoma, 229, 184, page 946, 949, 7, A.L.R., 895. Theophanes versus Theophanes, 244, KY.689, 51, SW.2D957.
So you have multiple reference, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Now continue to read it.
Okay. But where a state constitution provided for separate schools for the white and colored races, the term white race was held to be limited to the Caucasian race, and the term colored races to embrace all other races. Rice versus Gong, Long, 139, Mississippi. 760, 104, SO, I'm referencing probably South Carolina.
Yes.
105, 107. Continuing. It has also been held that there is no legal technical signification to the phrase colored person, which the courts are bound judicially to know.
Which means what? There is no scientific truth to it whatsoever. It's a social engineering term. So what occurs when our people use it thinking that they're uplifting their people? They just put them in a caste system, and there's no law, no court, nobody that has to even recognize it, because judicially it's a fraud. So now when you walk into court as a colored person or a black man, and then you start getting mistreatment, he said they got a double standard law. There it is. Now, shouldn't people know this so that when they're going around talking this, that they know what the swell they're talking about and know why they get certain treatment that they assume is Afrocentricity that has nothing to do with Afrocentricity?
Did y'all get that last paragraph I just read? Can I read it?
Yes, read it again.
Okay,
In fact, visit it.
Yeah, it has also been held that there is no legal, technical signification to the phrase colored person.
It's a phrase, it's not an identity. They are terms. They're terms used clearly in social engineering, yet they're taken as identities for people of African descent, not knowing it's a brand system. And when they agree to it, that's a contract. And then you have leader guys promoting it as if they're uplifting their people when there's no legal, technical signification to the term, because it's for social engineering. Now, if you want to agree to be that, you're in the club. It's no different than me bringing a pit bull in here trying to sell it, talking about, look at his bones, look at his hair, that thing. Go ahead, elephant, bark. And he goes, meow. Who's the, bid. Yeah, right. Just like y'all throw me out, this is what they do to color people. See the whole point? Now you understand why when Malcolm went before the UN, although they respected him, and he was trying to represent so-called black people, they told him no such people exist. Ralph Bunche spoke for the UN, and the people got up and walked away, and everybody said, they don't like the black men, no, because it came with that black Negro stuff. No such people exist. People of nationalities are not going to represent people who keep agreeing to be somebody's property and don't talk trash. Same thing with Dred Scott, talking about freedom and everything, what he claimed to be Dred Scott. Well, you're European property. Territory has nothing to do with it. How you going to transact business in another man's name and talk about you ain't his property? It's like a Chinese come here and talk about he Joe Pulaski. Huh? Or a brother from Vietnam walking through the door, oh, excuse me for a minute, can you all tell me where the light-skinned yellow guy's rights organization is? And expect you to take them serious. But we do this color game with other civilized people and wonder why they always reject us. When you wouldn't accept it from other civilized people, but you accept it from yourself, and don't recognize that other people look at you as stupid, doing that dumb stuff, and then getting pissed because they dissing you, when you just diss yourself. Also, lesson. So when you go on, as soon as you get out here, now of course, don't have it immediately, but if I had a college dictionary, take you to a child's dictionary, same lesson we gave you with this, take you to a college dictionary, right, show the adjective, and then you can see the morphing of the word, and it'll take you right beneath it, it says black dot a dot more, black. And the more will be capitalized, the black will be all solid case. Then in the definition, they separate the compound and tell you Moors. People would, any dark-skinned person, someone called Negro, black, or colored, they're all Moors. Right in the dictionary, child's dictionary. And our people think it's a belief system. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
And the same thing like this, Treaty of Peace and Friendship, right? With the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, George Washington clearly demonstrates that they're standing on Morocco. In George Washington's letter. And yet you got all these so-called black scholars going to tell you about Hotep, tell you about Ma'at, and can't even tell you 125 years of history of their sojourn on their own land that they don't know is their own land. You see the whole problem? Huh?
Yes, sir.
That's an example. Let me show you another issue. And also why they call our people minorities.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Now keep in mind, all adepts, all imams, all rabbis, all master masons, all grand sheiks, all persons with titles and degrees they got these books in their private libraries that you don't see, including the Quran, Septuaginta, the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, all of the books, and know they're for different cycles and different days. They're not separate religions the way the masses get it. That's another thing y'all don't know. You understand?
Yes, sir.
That's why I can go to a Jew and get a tassel. But I can't go to a spooked up Muslim and get a tassel, which is Muslim headdress, which doesn't make sense to me, does it? So look up minor and minority. And this, again, like I say, so look up minor, minority.
Got it. Minority.
And now, keep in mind, when you start reading these from a law position, they're telling you denotatively these applications. And remember, when it's given in ordinary language, it's almost predominantly connotative, which means fad, and not original. All right? Good. Excuse me.
Minor. An infant or person who is under the age of legal competence.
All right. Under the age of legal competence. So competence plays into it, but yet most of our people don't look at it that way, do they? And when they think minorities, they also ain't thinking that relationship, are they? No. Continue.
One under 21, a term derived from the civil law, which describes a person under a certain age as less than so many years. Minor virginity, quinque anus, one less than 25 years of age. Then it goes to the references. INST 1, 14, 2, Aldsley versus Hale, 303, Minnesota, 451, 261, Southwest, 117, 123. Continuing. Also less or less consideration, lower, a person of inferior condition.
Now you see? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Now, our people are not looking at that. They look at that as some kind of Afrocentric term of endearment, don't they? And that's often presented with our so-called little so-called quote-unquote black groups.
Yes, sir.
And don't understand it's a caste system. So if you agree to be that, can you condemn another for treating you to what you agree to be?
No. No, you sanction.
Now, if we can tell you what's on the dark side of the moon, or the Bible said on Thursday the world's going to end, so give your bicycle away. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
30 at 10 o'clock is according to the calendar, and if you look at the Mayan calendar, and it adds up and it correlates with the numbers of the mathematical, so the Bible says the world's ending. So give up your checkbook and everything, and they're going to tell you what's on the dark side of the moon, right? When planet X is going to come through the solar system, right? Right? About the Nephilim and everything, right? What's happening on 13 planets, right? And don't even know what the swell's going on this planet. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Right on with you,
The things that affect us every day. We always talking about gods whom we love, who we don't see, while we do not love each other, whom we see every day. We're the biggest frauds the world has ever known and are treated accordingly.
Minority.
Yes, minority.
Minority. The state or condition of a minor, period.
So state or condition. Does that say numbers?
No, sir, it says state or condition.
All right, so that's in a law term.
State of
So
mind.
everybody who's been told that they're minorities and they start going out arguing, making arguments on that basis should be aware of what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Whether they reject it or not is not what I'm saying. If you take a position, know what you're talking about. If you claim it's an elephant, don't come finding out it's a rhinoceros and arguing with people. And we do this. And so what I'm trying to show you, a lot of positions that we take We make assumptions on the connotative applications that are trained in the masses, assuming that we really have definition, when you really don't. So logically, you're at a disadvantage. This is why, when our people get in trouble with their estate, which includes the body,
Yes, sir.
do you understand? They have a barrister from England to represent them, because as men, they can't present themselves. 9 times out of 10, they claim to be a European. What's your name, Joe Smith? Property. What's your religion, Christian? Means they worship in Constantine. They think they're talking about Jesus. European property. Because they don't know their own history. So they're automatically in dishonor. You understand? And they would be considered as people of color. Now we're going to go to color. You read color, right? Yeah. Color. Just read color. Oh, here you go. Read color. Now, pay attention to this, and also keep in mind, because logically, and this is why you also have your multiple dictionaries, and this other rule of reading, this added degree. You never go past a word that you do not know or understand. For the first thing, when you start reading, you never sit down without your dictionaries next to you anyway. Go ahead, now read it. People of color, this is another proud Afrocentric statement. Read.
An appearance,
An appearance,
semblance,
a semblance,
or simulacrum,
or simulacrum,
as distinguished from that which is real.
as distinguished from that which is real. So what occurs when our people go out with their proud Afrocentricity, talking about, we're people of color.
Not
To your podium.
Wow.
Proudly. Now, I'm only telling you this, and this is a demonstration to enhance our earlier conversation and why the emphasis is made on etymology. To demonstrate the advantage that educated people have always had over our people. Our people will admit that they've been miseducated and will not examine that miseducation, other than talk about it as a symptom of injury. They will not look to the cures. This is the cure. Do you understand? You must be educated to cure the miseducation. So therefore, you must be open to receive it. You see? And if they're closed down, they can't receive it, you can't save them. Because they think it's your opinion, your belief. And the rest of the world looking at us like we out the damn lunch. And we ain't caught on yet. Do you understand what's happening?
Yes, sir. Right there with you.
You know, but when it's yours, it becomes yours. Then when you go, and keep this in mind, when you bring people together, you have a responsibility to this when you're messing with people's minds. But if you don't know, you don't know. This is how we're under control, because our people go out with goodwill trying to raise it and wonder why they can't. Damn, we've been meeting for us, all this, can't do nothing with these people. That's why people get the opinion we just don't want anything. It's not that. We're you know, the car ain't running, and we keep running around and kicking the tires. Ain't none of them flat, but the car ain't running. You're messing with the car, but you don't know what you're doing. You're not dealing with the engineering problem. And this is what we do. Do you understand? We're arguing race, because we're told that, right? Race is the species. We're off key. We're arguing crayons. The key is that you've been denationalized. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so we're always arguing the wrong argument. Now I'm going to have you read one more thing, and then we're going to get ready to close out.
Brother, can I share something with you while
Yes.
you're doing that? Brother, we saw this. We didn't know you were going to be here. And this is not spookism, but we listened to you on the way up. But we had no idea, really, that you were going to be here, but we solicited you. And then brother said he wanted me to listen to you because he knew that we would resonate. And this is resonation. We're on the same frequency. So I'm just letting you know, we saw all of this, brother. That's why we laughed, because we saw this. But anyway, go ahead. I'm listening.
Right on, brother. Synchronicity.
2012 was election
Now read status.
Okay.
And particularly, you know, pay attention to this. But also understand the statement, invest in yourself. If you're going to be fixing these things, these are parts of your tools. Give up them Air Jordans, buy some Bobos, and then put the rest to some bolts. You understand? Go ahead, bro.
Okay, yes, sir. Status, standing, state or condition. Reynolds versus Pennsylvania Oil Company, 150 California ticket, 629, comma 89, page 610 through 612. The legal relation of individual to rest of community.
So status is the legal, and you can remember because it's law, so now, because it's condensed. So go ahead and interject. The status, the standing, yes, the condition, the relationship of the individual to the rest of the community. Now, keep that in mind, continue, analyze it, leave the law case out so you can stay with the substance, but pay particular attention to this last paragraph and look at what it equates to.
Okay, I'll leave law case out. The rights, duties, capacities, and incapacities which determine a person to a given class. A legal personal relationship, not temporary in its nature, nor terminable at the mere will of the parties, with which third persons and the state are concerned.
Shouldn't everybody be aware of this? Because remember, this goes on every day in everything you do, in courts, in mortgages, in trade, in commerce, in credit, in transfers, in buying and selling, in mortgages, in everything that you do, this is in play. Continue to read.
While term implies relation, it is not a mere relation.
Which means it's serious, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It also means estate.
So status and estate are equals in law, aren't they?
Yes.
So therefore people should be aware of it, shouldn't they? And anybody talking about the rights and the problems and the economies of people in our communities should be well aware of this and should inform them. After all, they got these degrees. And they should not be talking emotionalism and racism. They should be talking what the hell's wrong. So we can fix it, shouldn't they? Continue, good brother.
Yes, sir. It also means estate because it signifies the condition or circumstances in which one stands with regard to his property.
So therefore, if you got property and thinking that you can talk trash and think you own stuff and your status is dead, you're making assumptions that may not be what you think it is. Meanwhile, you marching and praying and protesting and don't even know your status is dead. And you walk around here calling about Negro, black, and color, and you got dead status. See the problem, good brother?
Yes, sir.
I want to show you one more, then we got.
You want me to read status thing, scenario, right?
No, I just wanted to read this.
Okay.
I wanted you to see that.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want you to read in Proprio persona. Now, Noble Drawley told the Moors to be themselves, right? And he says, what? How they begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? By teaching them to be themselves. You're going to find it has a legal implication in law. And it's important in law to be yourself, because if you're not yourself, you're in trouble. And so we're going to demonstrate to just how you are in trouble. This goes into the next page, right? All right, reduce the law case and just stay with the principle. In proprio persona, in law, that's Moorish Latin. In law, that means in one's own proper person. So in casual language, if somebody says to you, be yourself, in law, that's what they're saying. Now let's look at the implication it has in society. Read.
Yes, sir. Impropria persona. In one's own proper person. It is a rule in pleading that pleas to the jurisdiction of the court must be plead in impropria persona.
Yeah. Must, so must is a qualifier, isn't it? That doesn't mean maybe, does it? That doesn't, if you feel like it, does it? Read the sentence again.
Yes, sir. It is a rule in pleading the pleas to the jurisdiction of the court must be plead in proprio persona, because if pleaded by attorney, they admit the jurisdiction.
As an attorney, as an officer of the court, and assumed to have what? Required leave. Which means if you're not your proper person, they automatically have jurisdiction over you and your property. So you must be aware of these things, mustn't you? So that when we go out into the world and deal with the social economic problems of our people that we claim to be trying to fix or solve, and you don't know these rules of the game, what happens to you? You get dissed. Then when you get dissed, then you want to march and pray. I suggest don't do it. You understand? I suggest that we educate our people and stop playing with them. Because all of the ministers got these degrees. And that's all I got to say. Read everything that New Colonial presented to you and analyze it word for word. Don't get caught in the person, get caught in the spirit. And get your literature. All right? Islam, brother, I hope you did some good, man. You know what I mean? Hope you did some good. Got some more to show you. But the time we holding her because I never see. I think we'll come back in 2 weeks. Can we come up? Anyway, Sister Nyla, so remember that's your black law. All right? And that goes with your other tools. And so anybody that's leading any group of people, you understand they got any of these titles, understand they know about this even if they didn't tell you. And if they ain't telling you, they ain't teaching you. Don't take it personal. You understand? Let me tell you about the musings of an undercover poet. Now, Sister Nyla, you know, she got, also do yourself a favor and get some of her CDs and take them back down to Carolina for you. Be very, very enlightening because she's, and it's not just because, you know, we're all family here. It is truly, she has really, and I really appreciate it because I'm a poet myself, a very complex and beautiful mind. And when she writes, she takes you on a roller coaster. She takes you on the sea, on the calm sea, up a stream lined with flowers. It's multiplicity. Dr. Nyla Gilliam, will you please come up here and share with us a little bit, and don't forget to get her book too. And she got another one coming out too. But you know, it is really wonderful. It is really, really wonderful. Yes, it is. And it's at no point an exaggeration. You really, really appreciate it. Anyways, poetry is the musings.
Poetry is.
Yes, poetry is the musings of an undercover writer, Dr. Nyla Bakari Gilliam. And it is pleasure also, it's really an honor, even though I know it's still an honor because actually I got about 5 of these. I was looking, I said, wait a minute, you know, I was going to getting one off my shelf. Book, and then I turned around and knocked the book over and 4 of them came. Because you know when you give, a lot of times you share stuff and then I lost it. No, you didn't. I did. I got another one now. Anyway, Dr. Nyla, share. Come on, let's give her a mic. Give her a hand, y'all.
I appreciate Brother Taj. He wrote the foreword to my book. So, and I appreciate the poet in him. That he's very inspirational. He's deep. You already know he's deep. But I just wrote 2 new poems.
Oh, great.
I guess I wrote them for my new work.
So that means We're
I
introduced
can't, I don't know them, but I wrote them.
Are we the first? So
I
this
think
is
I
like-
did one the last time. Did I do it?
Yes, you did.
The one with the, yeah, the other one is kind of, you almost have to be looking at it to understand it or to get it, because I have something on Facebook. I have a contest on Facebook for this poem, that if you could pick out 2 categories of the 19 things that I'm saying in here, I'm going to give the first 3 people that do a copy of my book. And so far, it's been up for about 3 or 4 days, and nobody has told me anything. So anyway, it's called, I'm looking at it on Facebook. That's why. It's called A Wordsmith's Rant. And I'll be the wordsmith.
Okay.
You just listen, anybody who, it says, while stumbling upon my space, I faced the book of truth and realized not seeing reality. So I glide through life instantly pinning my interest on every hope I see, even though none of it does a darn thing for me. The game of life is not a barrel of monkeys. In fact, it's kind of like a monopoly. This twister's got me picking up sticks and losing my concentration while trying to connect 4 blackjacks with 2 old maids. It boggles my mind that this operation appears to some to be just a trivial pursuit while not having a clue why I do what I do. I am a wordsmith, artfully forging thoughts into prose of steel, causing the hearer to feel what I feel. I am that much-needed antiseptic, soothing the doubts of the hardcore skeptic. I've come to make a knower out of you to the degree my words ring true. I do this because I am now, then, when. Of me there is no beginning, and there is no end. Now, did anybody pick up what I was talking about in there?
Yeah.
What was I talking about? Okay, the first part. It's 2 parts. What was I saying first?
Real eyes and real eyes.
I saw confusion and blindness from the beginning.
You're
What'd you
saying-
say? I said, while stumbling upon my space, I faced the book of truth and realized not seeing reality. I glide through life instantly pinning my interest on every hope I see. If anybody knows, that's social media. Stumble upon Facebook, MySpace, Glide, Instagram, and Pinterest. I'm a wordsmith. And then you did hear James in the last one. You heard what? Life. Remember life? Barrel monkeys. Monopoly, Twister. Pick up sticks, concentration, connect 4, blackjack, old maids, boggle, trivial pursuit, and clue. And I write in the weirdest times because I was sitting at an event and I guess I was bored. And so I wrote this one last Thursday. But it's called A Wordsmith's Rant. And this one I think some of you heard, but since it's some new folks, I'll read this. This is the one I wrote a couple Saturdays ago. On the first Saturday every month we have an open mic. I can hear you back there. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody else can too. They can. I'm sorry. I'm usually not that ignorant, but he's all right with that. But anyway, we have something called Sankofa Theater every first Saturday, and I came in. I was walking down the street, and I just heard, how you hear a phrase in your head, and so I sat back there with brothers sitting with the fez, and I just rattled off this poem. And so when they called me up to do one of my poems from the book, instead I read this, and it's called Damn, She Fine. Okay, let me see if I can get this out. I can't even see, my glasses are foggy. He said, damn, she fine, as she passed him on the street. Jeans tight, hair right. But what he cannot see is that plus size she's wearing for HIV. He said, damn, she fine, as she passed without a glance. Can a brother like me even stand a chance? But she doesn't flinch or give him an answer. He doesn't know what would happen if she let him romance her. He said, damn, she fine, as she ignores his catcall, head high, not shy at all, but what he can't see is false beauty ain't free, and she's not really herself, she's just her wannabe. He said, damn, she fine, as she passes him by, and why she won't respond, he just wonders why, but what he can't see are the tears in her eye. He said, damn, she fine. As he passed by her coffin. She was that fine sister who used to pass by me often, refusing to speak or give me some play. Who would have thought that she'd end up this way? But what he and everyone else could not see is that she was just a sister dying to be free. Wow. So I guess I'll put those two in my new book or something. She was suffering, and a lot of times we don't see. We don't, what, you know, as we say, all that glitters is not gold, but what looks good is not necessarily good, and so maybe this one should be something that they use. Well, I don't want to give it to the HIV people because that's a farce. You know, when I say farce, I mean that whole get rid of it.
Paradigm.
You know, so, but it's something to make us think. It's something to make every last one of us think. You know what I mean? So, and I really, like I said, I really appreciate Brother Taj for how he has promoted my book and helped me. You know, my book has gone to Beijing, China. It has gone to a lot of different places. It's gone to places I haven't gotten to yet. People say, I said, take pictures, take pictures. It's going to see my book on the airplane or something like that. But, you know, it's, and one last thing, I met a sister named Aziza this week, as a matter of fact. She just she was just elected to city council in Sharon Hill, but she's also a poet. And I was on my way back, I know I wasn't on my way here, but I left here. My phone rang, and she called me, and she was in a meeting. There's a woman's collection. She's a published author, you know, like Howard University has published her and all this. And she called me tonight, and they want me to join the Women's Poet Collective. So I didn't think I could do what they do. She said, oh, we want to do it. Do you want to do it? And yes, I want to do it. Because I see myself on Verses and Flow when they did. 60 years old on Verses and Flow. That's what I said. Thank you all.
Of course. Anyway, you all, I'm going to remind you again, use the information, and I'm appreciating that you all traveled to come up here to support the House of Ram, etc. Also, I want to give you all news. I want to give props to all the sisters in the house, and also, of course, you all missed it, Islam, good brother. You know, because we was in New York Wednesday because we do classes at the theater. Now, I don't go there usually, but I had the chance to go there Wednesday. I went there actually the other Wednesday too. And Sister Rosamond Ryan and Anna Eda did a class. It was a great, great class. And they did some questionnaires. And it would be rewarding. I'm going to bring that test down and share it with you all, etc. But I get joy sometimes sitting back, you know, like a lot of times I go to different venues and they want me to talk and I don't feel like talking really. I get a chance to sit back and watch the work. But it gave me appreciation of the reality that when women get this information and they really get it down and they just do what they do, the flow is good. And it really helps a lot. Because by nature, women are teachers. You know, and a lot of times when they do it and they're just natural, casual, it really gets across, and I just want to give them props for that. So even though they're not here, give them props for it. And I also want to give Abdullah props, because the other week he did the class in New York at the theater. And again, I can't emphasize enough how great that lesson was. And the interesting thing that we talked for years about the dynamics of the procession of the sun, etc., and the keys of them lying on Jesus, which is kind of a misnomer, a lie about Jesus, or misrepresentation about Jesus, because it was no Jesus in this kind of sense that people get it, because Jesus is a password. And the one that they called Jesus' name was Yahshua, you know, so, but a deal, and I want to give him, stand up, Dooley, I want to give him a hand again on that class. A lot of times when you're talking to people, they can use their imagination. But when you demonstrate, because he had it, you know, he used pictures, symbols, etc. on the wall so that people could walk with the history. And when you give, that's called, like in instruction, that's called giving people mass, or giving them an object to look at to also represent the language. Because actually we see in pictures and signs and symbols. And it was really such a great class, and I'm just elated and respectful of him, and give him honors and props. Go ahead, do it, and you gotta come down here and do it on the wall there. Brother Abdullah Iltalid Musi Bey. Remember your books and your feathers and your pens. See Brother Nabi and Sister Anissa. Do your tools. Thank you for coming out. Supporting the House of Ram, Islam, and peace. Study.
I have,
Come up.
I want to know, I'm trying to find it, I wanted to give, if people don't know about it, there is a website called The Reluctant Messenger. Has anybody heard of it?
The Reluctant Messenger?
Yes. A lot of the books that you've mentioned, you know, the Bhagavad Gita and all of those, this website has about every so-called sacred book that there is listed. It's called, it's The Reluctant Messenger.
The Reluctant Messenger.
And I think it's The Reluctant Messenger. But
Yeah.
if you even Google The Reluctant Messenger,
It will probably come up.
the site, it will come up. And it's got almost any of those so-called sacred books, so Messenger. And it has, I've been on that site for about a year and a half, and I think it's excellent, because a lot of times we can't buy all those books or obtain all those books,
Yes.
and they're on there.
Yes, great. And do yourself a favor, because one of these days I'm gonna get with Sister Nala, and we're just gonna do a class on some of the key books, particularly maybe do something on Septuaginta itself, go through the Ibri, Aleph, just some fundamentals, and more or less stay focused just on that. Because when we have open classes, a lot of times because people are at different degrees, we'll bounce around on different subject matters to make sure everybody gets something. But like on your more refined stuff, this would be issues where we might do something, just a video for the issue of dispensing specified and dedicated information to raise you up. But Islam, brothers and sisters, trust me, there's some good Islam peace.